Hello, hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face and my card making space. And surprise, more watercolor. It's my current fixation. I'm having fun with it. This time, doing a little bit of purposely outside the lines, aka messy watercolor. It's fun. Anyone can do it. We'll get into it. So, as always, everything I use will be listed and linked in the description box below the video. My links are affiliate links. That just means that if you click on one of my links and end up placing an order, I do get a little kickback from that at no extra cost to you. That is what helps pay the bills, keeps the lights on, keeps my heaters going, enables me to keep bringing out content. And yeah, at the end of this video on the end screen, I will link to another video I did using this same stamp set. I did watercolor on that one, but I had like die cut the stamp set and like the stamped image and did more layers, etc., etc. This time, just took a different approach to it. So that's it for the chatter. Let's get into making the card. So the stamps that I was talking about is the Make My Heart Flutter stamp and die set. I'm not using the large die that die cuts out this main image here, but I am going to be using all the other dies, like for the butterflies and the sentiments I'm going to use. And I have some watercolor paper. This time I'm using just Altenew's hot press watercolor paper. And I'm making sure that my floral is somewhat centered on this because I'm not die cutting it. I'm going to be cutting like a rectangular panel from it. So that just gave me a visual, and I had space along the top there, so that's where I'm going to put my little butterflies, because those I'm going to die cut like individually. And once I got everything lined up, I used my anti-static powder tool to help keep the embossing powder from clinging to where it doesn't belong. And then I'm going to ink up and stamp this a couple times with clear embossing ink, especially when I am stamping onto watercolor paper. I like to ink things up more than once. I'm not pressing really, really hard because you can end up like kind of squishing some of the detail when you do that. But I find that having at least a couple layers of the embossing ink, regardless of what ink I'm using, helps get all that detail. And it also, especially when I'm usually embossing 99% of the time, it gives me more ink, to grab that embossing powder. So I coated everything with Simon's Detail Gold embossing powder. I'm melting it with my heat tool. And I always say, I melt it until it's smooth and shiny. I tilt it back and forth in the light to look for any dull grainy areas. And this time I'm able to actually kind of point this out. Because when I tilt it in light, there's that one little spot right there. That's what I mean by like dull and grainy. That spot wasn't melted. So blast out with my heat tool. It's melted and we're good to go. Whole image is shiny, reflective, all the embossing powder is melted. So since I am painting the background this time, I am taping this down to my little hardboard, and I'm just using painter's tape for this. Just any sort of low tack tape. And it's a little hardboard. I'll have a link to it. I've had this thing for, goodness, well over a decade, I'm pretty sure. So this just helps keep the watercolor paper from curling. I'm not getting super heavy-handed with the amount of water and everything, but this does help. So taped it down. And then for my actual watercoloring, I'm using, yet again, these two little palettes from these little Altenew watercolor compacts. I don't even know how many videos I've done with these. I'm really enjoying them. So I have my little pan here is a little enamel coated pan. Any non-porous surface will work. You just got to make sure it's one that you're not worried about potential staining, because sometimes certain pigments can stain. These ones I haven't noticed that yet, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. So I added water, and I decided for my colors this time I was going to go with purple, because I really love that purple mix that I get with the red shade and the blue shade. And I mixed up a few different shades of green because we've got a few different leaves here, and really got into that purple. I was like, yes, we are doing purple. And then I decided to do sort of the peachy shade. I'm going to add a little bit more yellow to it. This is what I'm going to use for the butterfly. Now, when I talk messy watercolor, that just means going outside the lines, which can be and is, especially if you're newer to watercoloring, the concept of doing this is a little bit scary, you know? But I cannot stress this enough. It is so fun. I remember being so intimidated by it, like seeing other card makers do this and just, watercolorists, but generally card makers because we mostly work with stamps. And thinking like, but how do you know? How do you know where to put the color? And like, honestly, try it. Just try it. You don't have to do multiple colors like I did. You can just do like one color. Like do a light aqua or really pale yellow, whatever floats your boat. Slap on some color. Just have a little bit more water in it. Just do just a nice light wash. Just throw it on there. And then let it dry. So I sped that up with my heat tool because I'm impatient. I'm not going to sit here all day. So I dried this with my heat tool. And by having that wash of color down, it's freeing. I don't know how else to describe it. Because the color's there and it's gone past the lines, all you gotta do is fill in everything else. It's simple. And I know if you're newer, that sounds almost like ridiculous, but it is. It is. It takes practice. It does. Watercolor just takes time and practice. But if you're interested in it and it's something you want to do it. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it and the more fun it gets. So I have super sped this up. This did not take very long, but I did super speed this up in editing. This time, and I don't often do this, but I did wet on dry for all this painting, which just means that I picked up the wet watercolor with my brush and I immediately painted with the wet watercolor on the dry watercolor paper. Because usually I, wet an area first with water and then drop in my color. Most of the time, that's what I do. But this time, I did wet on dry. So I'd apply the color with my brush, and then I took a second brush that was just damp with clean water and pull that color out to the edges of each thing. So with the petals, put in that purple shade, pull it out with the clean brush, and then repeat. With the leaves, same thing. Apply a bit of the color with the one brush, and then I use my damp clean brush to pull the color out. So I have the darker areas where I first apply the color and then the lighter areas from pulling out that color with my clean brush. So, and then I just work my way around. And I had 3 different shades of green mixed up here because we've got the different types of leaves. So I did the more blue-green shade on those first leaves, more of this sort of a Kelly green on these 2 larger leaves, and then this little narrow sort of viney one. I added a little bit more yellow to the green just to make it a little more bright, a little more limey, and painted that on. Now, when you're painting with watercolors, because most watercolors are fairly transparent, when you've done an underpainting like this, the messiness, the layers show through, depending on how much you add, the type of watercolor, etc. And that can be really fun too, because you'll get different blends that you normally wouldn't think of. So I'm going to have to do this more again. Not only am I back on the watercolor kick, but I was like, it's been a while since I've done messy, outside the lines type of watercolor, underpaintings, things like that. So this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So I just kept going along. I did all my greenery. I used a little tiny brush to do those little berries, just slap the color on with the little berries because they're so small. And then with this butterfly, this was the more peachy shade, and doing the exact same thing, putting in the darker color first and then just pulling it out with the brush. And once all that was done, I used the second little watercolor compact, the Deep Muse one, because it's got this brown and the blue. And I mixed the brown and the blue together to make more of a Payne's gray sort of a shade. The brown I used for the flower center, as you can see. Just painted that on. And then did the exact same thing with the center, just put in a bit of color, pulled it out with the clean brush. And then the Payne's gray shade that I made up, I painted that for the little butterfly bodies. And that finished it off. So once this was painted, I let it dry, which did not take very long. And then I'm going to add splatter. So I'm using my white gouache for the splatter, and I just stuck it in the corner of this palette here. I watered this down a little more than I normally do because usually it's like, you guys know, I love my splatter. I watered this down a bit. I didn't want it to be intense white splatter. And especially with gouache, the more water you add to it, the more watery it gets, the less pigmented. So when I'm splattering it on right now, it looks very like solid white splatter. But it's going to dry back a little bit. And then I added even more water to it and splattered more. And that will also kind of like absorb some of the color, dry back, and yeah, it just gives more texture. So I did all of that, added all my splattery bits, let that dry, and then decided to add gold splatter as well, because why not? So my little Gonzai Tombi Starry Colors, I'd already added water to it, and then mix it up really, really well with my brush. I didn't bother with putting this in my splat box. Yeah, the bit of splatter, I honestly managed to keep it somewhat contained this time. Shocker. I'm sure I'm going to find more errant splatter. It's everywhere. It's on my computer. It's on my camera lenses. Whatever. Added the gold splatter. Cleaned everything off. Made sure everything was dry to remove the painter's tape. If you've taped anything down when you're watercoloring, it needs to be dry. You do not want to try to remove the tape when it's still wet because it could shred the watercolor paper, and that's what you don't want. So I just pull the tape against itself. Once it's all removed, I'm going to die cut the main image with just a rectangle wafer die. Could also cut it with a paper trimmer, but I found a die the size I wanted. So I used a rectangle wafer die for the background, and then I used the coordinating wafer dies to die cut the butterflies. And for my sentiment, I'm using sentiments from that stamp set. And this is a Gina K's Plum Punch cardstock, because that went with the purple shade that I'd made for the watercolor. So I'm going to heat emboss these sentiments onto that cardstock, but this time I'm going to use white embossing powder instead of the gold, because the white will stand out a little bit more on this color than the gold would. So same thing as the first images. I used my anti-static powder tool, stamped the sentiments with clear embossing ink, coated them with white embossing powder, melted with my heat tool. I'm going to buff away all that excess anti-static powder because, as you can see, it's not very pretty. So I'm going to buff that away with microfiber cloth. And then I'm going to use the coordinating wafer dies for these to die cut the sentiments. And I managed to break one of the sentiments, not the wafer die, the die cut sentiment, the one that says, hey friend, I broke it in half. We'll get to it. And I fix it. It's all good. So then to like frame this main image, I pulled out, this was Lawn Fawn Sunflower cardstock. This kind of went with the yellowy shade I watercolored with. And I die cut a panel of that with the largest of the Eyelet layer frames wafer dies. So I'll give it that scalloped edge with all the piercing detail that I just love. And then I decided to make my card base from that same cardstock. And it's a top folding A2 note card. So 4¼ by 5½ inches. And on the inside, I'm going to stamp that floral image with Simon's Honey Positively Saturated ink. That's just perfect shade for that. And then I adhered one of the sentiments and the butterfly, which I'll just show at the end. That's what I finished off the inside of the card. And then to the card front, I adhered my die cut panels, and then my little butterflies, and then my sentiments. And yeah, I broke apart that sentiment. It happens. So I was planning on gluing them down anyway, so I'm just going to butt them up against each other, and it'll be fine. So the sentiments I decided not to stack. I don't know why. I always die cut like the scraps and stack them, but I didn't this time. Who knows? Who knows what was going through my head? So glued the sentiments down. The butterflies, I just trimmed down little bits of Big Mama foam tape just behind the wings. So it just gave them that smidge of dimension so that the bodies are glued, but then the wings are just slightly popped up. It just gives it that little extra something. And then I dug through my stash, and I have these Trinity Stamps goldenrod heart baubles. And those just, I love when, random things just coordinate. So glued a few of those down, and could have been done here. But the other thing, not only the watercolor kick, but the stickles, back on the stickles wagon, because glitter, like, who doesn't love glitter? I know loose glitter isn't everyone's, thing. Me, love it. Love all the glitter. Just my inner magpie is so appeased by this. With stickles, very light hand. I apply it very, very thin because if you apply it really thin, it dries actually quite quickly. If you glop it on, it just takes a really long time, sometimes overnight to dry. I also apply it really thin because I did all this watercoloring. I don't want to completely cover it up or obscure all that detail. So the glitter, like the stickles, is just a little enhancement, a little just extra pizzazz. And it makes me happy. So I let it dry. And then I've got watercolor and glittery bits and shine and pretty colors. And then that scallop stitch, I really like that die set. That one I've used a lot. And then on the inside, there's my little extra butterfly and the sentiment. And that finished off the card. So, like I mentioned in the intro, I will have links to all the things in the description box below the video. You can check that out below if you are interested. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me, for thumbs upping and commenting. I appreciate it a ton. And I'll see you all very soon in the next video. Bye. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in joining my Patreon community and supporting me, the link to my Patreon is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't, I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye!